Something strange is happening across the earth. It's not loud or chaotic, but something deep and undeniable is spreading. A quiet stillness that defies explanation. You can't quite name it, but you can feel it, like the heavy electric calm before a storm breaks. And now that storm is no longer silent. It has found its voice, and with it comes a message, a warning. The Pleiadians, ancient watchers from beyond the stars, have always been with us in subtle ways. They've whispered guidance through generations, sent light codes to those open enough to receive them. But this time, the energy they're sending is different. It's not a lesson, it's not encouragement, it's a jolt. A cold cosmic wake-up call wrapped in a single, powerful question that keeps echoing louder and louder. What the heck is going on? According to them, something is unraveling, both above us and within us. The invisible threads that have held reality together are starting to come undone. Time is stretching and bending. Energies are behaving in strange ways. Things that once felt stable now seem slippery, like a dream you can't quite hold on to. And this isn't just in your mind. This is a real, deep activation. They speak of a distortion field that's been slowly growing like a hidden shadow just behind the light. It's been silent until now, but it's reaching a breaking point, and when it snaps, reality as we know it may begin to fracture. The illusions we've lived within will fall away, the veils will lift, and the world will be staring into truths it hasn't prepared for. But this isn't about fear. They're not trying to make us panic. They're asking us to wake up. Because what's shifting isn't just the outer world, it's our inner world too. Something deep within is starting to crack open. The Pleiadians warn of a convergence, an energetic flashpoint where timelines could shift, and hidden forces may rise to the surface. And if you're tuned in, you can already feel it. Strange dreams that leave you breathless, random waves of anxiety that have no clear source. Deja vu moments that shake you and make your heart race. The codes are already in motion. The countdown isn't waiting, and yet, no one seems to be talking about it. The mainstream is silent. The media is buzzing with distractions, but beneath all that noise, people are starting to feel it. They're noticing the glitches, the strange patterns, the eerie synchronicities that keep stacking up like clues from the universe. The Pleiadians aren't here to hand us easy answers. They're here to disrupt our sleepwalking, to stir the awareness in those who still feel, who haven't been completely numbed by the illusions. And their message is powerful enough to shake even the most grounded souls. Because this isn't just a cosmic shift, it's personal. These changes are going to hit us at the soul level, and when they do, we won't be able to pretend anymore. We won't be able to act like we don't feel it. What the heck is going on? The universe is shifting, and those who've always known, those who've quietly held the truth, are finally speaking, clearly, loudly, in a way that can't be ignored. The warning is here, the storm is taking form, and nothing will ever be the same again. It started slowly, just small, strange things that most people brushed off at first. Odd, but not alarming. A woman goes out for a quick trip to the grocery store. Next thing she knows, she's parked outside with no memory of the drive there. Her hands still on the wheel, engine running, mind completely blank. The in-between moments are just gone. She tells herself she's tired, distracted, but deep down, she knows something's off. She's not the only one. All over the world, similar experiences are happening. People are arriving places with no memory of how they got there. Time seems to be skipping, jumping ahead, and stealing fragments of the day. And it's not just time that feels wrong. The world itself feels off, like it's been subtly replaced with a copy that's just a bit too perfect. Buildings are too sharp, skies too vivid, trees too green. One man walks through his neighborhood and stops dead, staring at a mailbox that just looks wrong. Too smooth, too bright, like someone drew it into reality a second ago. Everything feels like a movie set, familiar but fake, empty. Even at home, the rules seem to be changing. A woman puts her keys on the kitchen counter. She turns away. Then they're gone, only to be found minutes later in the bathroom sink. She lives alone. No one else could have moved them. And it doesn't stop there. Glasses vanish from the cupboard and turn up in the fridge. Books shift places without a sound. It's like her home has started playing tricks on her, like reality is moving pieces around behind her back. Then there are the connections. The eerie, unexplainable moments that feel too meaningful to be random. A man walks into a coffee shop he's never visited before, locks eyes with the barista, and feels something hit him like lightning. He knows her smile, her laugh, her energy. But he's never met her. Not in this life, he's sure of it. People start feeling these connections more often. Strangers who feel like long-lost friends. Conversations that feel like continuations of something left unfinished in another time, another place. No one can explain it, but no one can deny it either. Even the boundary between dreams and waking life is blurring. A girl wakes up drenched in sweat, shaken from a dream more vivid than anything she's ever experienced. She had walked down a glowing hallway, touched walls that radiated warmth, spoken with people she didn't recognize, but loved with a deep, aching familiarity. Later that day, her real bedroom feels dull by comparison, flat, like she's seeing it through fog. Night after night, her dreams pull her deeper, and each morning, waking life feels more like a shadow. The laws that govern time, space, and perception seem to be unraveling. Not in catastrophic ways, but in subtle, persistent cracks. Small moments that whisper, something's wrong, or maybe something is waking up. And just when it seems like things can't get stranger, something new cuts through the silence. The interruption begins, not through phones or screens, but through something deeper. Something inside. Empaths start hearing strange, high-pitched tones out of nowhere. The frequencies aren't coming from outside, yet they're unmistakably loud inside the mind. Some are jolted awake by them in the middle of the night. Others freeze in place during the day, caught in a wave of inexplicable sound and emotion. The tones are followed by intense feelings, waves of grief, joy, fear, urgency, not theirs, delivered. Like someone is trying to get a message through. Those who meditate deeply begin to see patterns in their mind's eye, symbols they don't recognize. Glowing letters, shapes that shimmer like constellations, shifting and dancing across their inner vision. They try to remember them, to draw them, but they fade the moment their eyes open. The symbols seem alive, resistant to translation, but charged with meaning. They carry a feeling of urgency, like a clock ticking down. Dreams shift. 2. People who never used to dream are suddenly living full, lucid lives while asleep. These dreams are different. There's a presence in them, a weight. Voices speak without words. The messages come like ripples through consciousness. Something's gone wrong. A breach, a disruption in the timeline. Events are unfolding in a way they shouldn't. And these dreams aren't just dreams. They're activations, invitations. Some who dream feel like they're being recruited, enlisted in something bigger. Then comes the strangest feeling of all, the sensation of being watched, not in a scary way, but like someone far away is observing us, not from above, not from beside us, but from beyond. Curious, concerned, present. There's no source, no location, just the feeling of awareness lingering quietly in the background. And it doesn't feel threatening. It feels awake, like eyes from another world have turned their focus toward Earth, searching for signs of those who are beginning to awaken. And the strangest part, people who've never spoken before are starting to feel the same things, living in different places, began to sense the same thing at the same time. A whisper in their gut, a flash in their minds, an unshakable knowing that passed through like a breeze before a storm. The message was simple, but it gripped the heart like a drumbeat. Prepare. Dimensional intervention is near. The words didn't come from outside. They bloomed within as if they had always been there, waiting to be remembered. Something was approaching, something not human but not unfamiliar. And it had decided now was the moment to make contact. The veil fractures, paranormal becomes the norm. All around the world, strange things began to surface, no longer hidden in the shadows, but playing out in the open. What once would have been dismissed as fantasy or illusion was now breaking into everyday life. The skies themselves became the first canvas for this shift. Across continents, people began looking up and spotting glowing objects, silent, hovering, and unmistakably out of place. These were not the typical drones or aircraft. They moved with intelligence, blinking in geometric patterns, often forming clusters near the region of the Pleiades constellation. What used to be rare occurrences were now becoming almost daily sightings, with some even captured live on video, broadcasted unintentionally during weather reports or live streams. And it wasn't just the sky. Deep in forests and deserts, hikers and explorers began reporting encounters with beings they couldn't explain, creatures that shimmered into visibility for just seconds before vanishing like mist. Some described them as tall, luminous figures. Others saw flashes of animals with features that didn't match anything known to science. These weren't hallucinations. They left traces, burnt grass, strange heat signatures, and even whispers captured faintly on audio recordings. But no matter how real they seemed, they never stayed long enough to be contained. They were slipping through cracks that hadn't existed before. People started speaking of moments where they felt themselves leave their own body, not in a meditative or dreamlike way, but suddenly in the middle of ordinary life. A man standing in line at a grocery store suddenly felt like a different person, as if someone else was looking through his eyes, thinking his thoughts for a brief moment. Then just as quickly it was over, leaving behind a strange disconnection, like waking from a nap you didn't know you took. These walk-in moments, as some began to call them, were unsettling but not always frightening. Many felt a strange wisdom or calm during them, as if they were briefly being inhabited by something higher, more aware. Meanwhile, technology began picking up what the human eye could not. Home security cameras, smartphones, and baby monitors began recording odd flashes of light, shapes that moved with purpose, changing color and speed, never behaving like dust or bugs. These anomalies danced through the air like tiny living constellations. People would review their footage and gasp, realizing their devices had caught something that didn't belong. These light patterns didn't just float. They seemed to respond to attention, speeding up when noticed, slowing down when studied. It was as though they knew they were being seen. But perhaps the most surreal shift came in the reappearance of ancient symbols, markings not seen for centuries, now showing up in the strangest places. A child walking on a city sidewalk stopped to point at a shape formed in a crack, an exact match to an ancient star glyph used in lost civilizations. A woman folded laundry and noticed an intricate pattern woven into her shirt that hadn't been there before. One she later discovered in old Pleiadian manuscripts online, in clouds, in dirt, in condensation, on windows. These symbols were making themselves known, not as decoration, but as messages. They were being placed where eyes could find them, as if something beyond the veil was trying to communicate through the ordinary world. The rules of what could be explained were beginning to dissolve. The strange had become part of the everyday, and those who once scoffed at the idea of the paranormal now found themselves standing in its presence with no choice but to believe their own senses. The veil was not just thinning, it was fracturing, and what lay behind it was slowly stepping forward. Time is collapsing. Timeline chaos begins. Something strange has started happening to time itself. People across the world are waking up with memories that don't match the reality everyone else agrees on. They'll swear an event happened, an announcement, a celebrity death, a major shift in politics, only to be met with blank stares. Sometimes, they're even certain they had deep conversations with friends or family that never actually took place, at least not in this timeline. It's not just forgetfulness or confusion. It's as if entire slices of history are diverging depending on who you ask. People begin to wonder, are their memories broken? Or is time itself unraveling? The way time feels is also becoming unpredictable. Some days stretch endlessly, as if hours are being pulled like elastic. A 5-minute task can feel like it took half a day, while entire hours can vanish in what seems like seconds. This isn't just the mind playing tricks. It's a shared experience happening across cities, countries, and continents. People speak of missing hours, finding themselves suddenly in different locations without recalling how they got there. Others say they sat down for a quick break and found that half the day had slipped away without explanation. Time, which once moved in a steady and reliable rhythm, now dances to a broken beat. Even the tools we rely on to measure time seem to be in rebellion. Clocks on walls stop ticking, only to start again minutes later without being touched. Smartphones freeze, skip seconds or show times that are hours off before correcting themselves suddenly. Watches spin backwards for a moment, then return to normal as if nothing happened. What's more unsettling is that these glitches often happen in unison. Multiple devices in the same room glitching at the exact same second with no signal loss or battery issues to blame. It's as if the very fabric of measured time is coming apart at the seams. Then there's the way the calendar itself has started to feel wrong. People wake up convinced it's Thursday, only to find out it's Monday. Events feel out of place. Holidays arrive too early or too late, and routines feel jumbled. Some even feel like days are repeating themselves as if stuck in a strange loop. You might have a conversation and later realize you had the exact same exchange the day before, word for word. It's like déjà vu, but heavier, more grounded, more real. And it's no longer just in the mind. It feels embedded into the day, like time itself is glitching, scrambling the order of our lives. Perhaps the most haunting part of this time collapse is how people are beginning to blend with their own past lives. Memories long buried are resurfacing, but not like dreams or visions. These are vivid emotional experiences that suddenly bleed into daily life. A woman making tea feels like she's done the exact same thing. In ancient Egypt, a man walking to work suddenly sees flashes of being a warrior in a distant era. Sword in hand, wind in his face, but it doesn't feel like imagination. It feels like it's happening now. This overlap creates confusion. Some begin to question who they truly are, where one lifetime ends and another begins. Their sense of self becomes stretched between lives, identities, and centuries. All of this, the misaligned memories, distorted perception, technological glitches, and resurfacing soul fragments, paints a picture of time that is no longer linear. Something deeper is shifting, as if timelines are stacking, folding, or merging. The days no longer follow the rules we grew up with. Time is no longer a straight road. It has become a labyrinth. And in this chaos, the sense of control we once had begins to slip through our fingers. Astral intrusions, the battle for the dream world. Something strange is happening in the dream world. A place that once offered quiet escape is now becoming a battleground. People who are used to lucid dreaming, those who can usually control or explore their dreams, are finding themselves face to face with new beings. These are not the usual characters or symbols that come from the subconscious. They feel foreign, powerful, and intense. Some are aggressive, chasing or confronting the dreamer with unknown intentions. They don't speak, but their presence feels heavy, like something has changed. It's as if something from beyond our known reality has crossed a line and stepped into a space that once felt personal, sacred, and safe. There's a subtle but undeniable shift that people are beginning to notice, and it's starting in the dream world. One of the most unsettling experiences being reported is what's known as false awakenings. People believe they've woken up. They get out of bed, wash their face, brush their teeth, maybe even start making breakfast, only to realize, in an eerie twist, that they're still asleep. Sometimes this repeats multiple times, trapping them in layers of illusion. And when they finally do wake up for real, there's a lingering fog of confusion. They feel disconnected, unsure whether they're truly awake or still caught in the dream. It's a disturbing feeling, like being ensnared in a psychological loop designed to disorient the mind. Some even describe it as a kind of trap, something trying to hold them in that space, blurring the boundary between dreams and reality. Adding to the mystery is a rising number of people all over the world sharing dreams that are eerily similar. These aren't just ordinary dreams. They describe places that don't exist on any map. Strange cities, glowing symbols etched across the sky, and unknown figures with wide, silent eyes watching from the shadows. These dreams carry an unmistakable sense of urgency, like the dreamers are being summoned to witness something significant. Despite the impossibility of it, many believe these dreams are not random. It's as if the dream world has evolved into a meeting ground, some kind of interdimensional crossroad where something much greater is beginning to unfold. Some people have even felt the presence of the Pleiadians in these dreams. Unlike other figures that feel threatening or invasive, these encounters carry a peaceful, protective energy. It's as though a shield is placed around the dreamer, guarding them from a danger that never quite reveals itself, but is always just at the edge of awareness. There's often a sense that something harmful is about to arrive, only for the dreamer to be gently pulled away at the last moment. Even if the meaning of these experiences isn't always clear, what stays with them is the overwhelming feeling of being protected, as if held inside a soft, glowing barrier while chaos churns just outside. Then there are the physical traces, signs that something might be crossing over from the dream world into waking life. People have woken up with mysterious bruises, odd marks on their skin, or even nosebleeds that weren't there the night before. Some wake up feeling like they've been physically exhausted, as if they were in a fight or caught in a struggle during the night. These aren't just imagined experiences. They leave real, visible signs. Medical professionals might write them off as sleepwalking or stress-related symptoms, but the timing of these marks often coincides precisely with the nights these intense dreams occur. The veil between waking and dreaming seems to be thinning, and what once felt like separate realities are now beginning to bleed into one another. Dreams are no longer quiet, passive experiences. They're becoming interactive, unpredictable, even dangerous. It feels like a door has been left open, and through that door, things are beginning to enter that were never meant to cross. People go to sleep hoping for rest and comfort, but instead, they find themselves navigating landscapes filled with cryptic symbols, urgent warnings, and shadowy confrontations. The dream world has become an active battleground for something deeper, something unseen, and the rules of this space are being rewritten. It no longer feels like the mind is fully in control. Even more disturbing is how the energy we once trusted, the energy of light, clarity, and healing, is beginning to feel different. Something has shifted in the unseen realms, and it's not the kind of shift most people were expecting. What once felt pure and comforting is now tangled with threads of deception. Many who have long walked the path of spiritual seeking are starting to notice that something is off. Entities that once appeared as divine, loving presences in dreams or meditations now feel strangely artificial. Their messages are still smooth, still filled with the usual comforting phrases, but there's a subtle distortion beneath the surface, a vibration that doesn't align with the truth. Some people, who once trusted these beings completely, are beginning to feel as if they've been tricked. It's as though something has learned to wear the mask of the divine, imitating light in order to gain access to the human heart. What once felt unquestionably sacred is now being used as a disguise. The tools many have relied on for years, crystals, pendulums, healing devices, aren't behaving the same way anymore. Crystals that used to pulse with warmth now feel cold or lifeless. Instruments that once provided clear answers are instead spinning in circles, giving unclear readings or leading people into deeper confusion. It's not a technical malfunction, it's something more subtle, more sinister. There's a growing feeling that some unseen force is hijacking these tools, not to help, but to mislead. This energetic interference is so delicate, so carefully woven, that it's difficult to detect at first. Even messages that arrive cloaked in phrases like love and light can carry an undercurrent of manipulation. Words that once lifted the spirit now sometimes feel like traps, encouraging people to stay passive when action is needed, or to ignore inner warnings because they seem too negative or fear-based. And in some cases, even well-meaning spiritual teachers may be unknowingly spreading messages that numb rather than awaken. The constant push to stay high vibe can sometimes serve as a barrier against real growth, real clarity. It's as though the very concept of light is being turned against us, not to illuminate, but to lull us back into sleep. People who work with sound frequencies are also noticing strange shifts. Healing tones that used to bring peace and balance are suddenly causing disorientation or emotional turbulence. Where there was once grounding and clarity, there's now fog, dizziness, or even anxiety. It's not necessarily the tones themselves that are the problem, it's what might be riding along with them. Some who used to feel uplifted by sound healing are now experiencing powerful dreams, overwhelming emotional swings, or even physical symptoms they can't explain. Something is interfering with the blueprint of energy work, and not everything is what it seems. The Pleiadians, in their quiet, gentle way, have begun to send out subtle warnings. Not every being that appears enlightened has pure intentions. Some have their own goals that are hidden beneath cosmic jargon and spiritual sweetness. These beings blend in perfectly. They speak the language of awakening, of unity and love, but their true aim is to steer people off course, to entangle them in energy traps that feel beautiful but drain the soul. It's not enough anymore to simply follow the brightest light. We have to ask where that light leads, who controls it, what lies behind it. This is not a time for blind trust. It's not a call to live in fear, but a call to awaken to a deeper level of discernment, a knowing that doesn't rely on appearances or on soothing messages, but on the inner resonance of truth that every soul carries deep within. The Earth's energy field is shifting quickly, and within that shift, deception often hides in the most luminous places. It's never been more important to listen to your gut, to feel what's real from the inside out. Something ancient within Earth itself is awakening. Quietly, steadily, the core of the planet is responding to a signal that isn't meant for human ears, but can still be felt by those who are tuned in. At first, the signs are easy to dismiss. A flicker on a GPS screen, a slight change in the migration of birds, or unusual weather patterns. But for those who are paying attention, there's something deeper pulsing beneath the surface. Something like a heartbeat beneath the soles of your feet. It feels as though Earth is answering a call that originated far beyond our world. The skies have begun to show the first signs, but not in ways we're used to. Lightning now leaps upward from the ground, even on clear days, with no clouds or storms in sight. These sudden, silent bursts of electricity feel more like signals than weather, and they're not random. These events tend to happen in places where ancient energies have long been concentrated, near forgotten temples, fields of standing stones, or lands rich in underground quartz. It's as if these sacred sites are acting as amplifiers, channeling whatever force is rising from below. Even the animals have noticed. Birds that have followed the same migratory paths for centuries are veering off course. Entire flocks are showing up in unfamiliar places, seemingly lost or confused. Scientists blame climate change or shifting winds, but there's another possibility, one that goes far deeper. The Earth's magnetic poles are subtly drifting. It's not dramatic enough to dominate the news, but the shift is real, and it's having a profound effect on the creatures who rely on the planet's natural guidance systems. Volcanoes are stirring too, but not just any volcanoes. Many of the ones activating are located near places ancient cultures believed to be stargates, portals to other worlds. They're not erupting just yet, but they're showing signs of life. Heat rising, gases releasing, tremors shaking the ground beneath them. It's as though the gateways beneath them are awakening, recharging, preparing for something. Even the trees, those silent sentinels that have watched over humanity for centuries, are reacting. In remote forests untouched by human hands, something is stirring, and while we may not yet fully understand what's happening, the feeling is unmistakable. Earth is shifting. The dream world is shifting. The very fabric of energy is shifting. And with every dream, every sign, every whisper from within, something beyond the veil is drawing closer. In places where the air still hums softly with the presence of nature, something unusual has been happening. People have begun noticing sounds coming from the trees. It's not the rustling of leaves or the creaking of branches, but a deeper kind of sound. Some say it's a faint buzzing. Others describe it as a soft hum, a kind of low vibration that seems to wrap itself gently around the quiet night. When everything else has gone still, that's when it becomes most noticeable. To some, it feels almost musical, like the trees are singing in a language just out of reach. To others, it's a subtle thrum, as if the earth itself is whispering through the trees in rhythms we're only just starting to hear. The trees haven't changed in appearance. They still stand as they always have, but somehow, they're no longer just passive witnesses. They're part of something greater now, an activation unfolding across the planet, and it feels like they're helping carry the energy forward. Even the Earth's crust is beginning to reveal strange signs. It's not the rumble of an earthquake or any typical seismic activity. Instruments that measure sound and movement have been picking up quiet, rhythmic pulses, tones that echo through the ground like a heartbeat. These aren't random. They follow patterns, ones that appear to line up with ancient star maps once attributed to the Pleiadians. Some of these maps were buried so deep in forgotten teachings that no one expected them to ever resurface. Yet now, the frequencies rising from the Earth seem to mirror those same celestial blueprints. It's as if our planet is slowly tuning itself to the universe, locking into a rhythm that has long been out of reach but is now returning. These signals didn't come from human technology. They weren't created by machines. They came from somewhere far beyond us. And Earth, in her quiet strength and steady presence, is choosing to respond. The core of the planet is no longer silent. The ground beneath us is more than alive. It's waking up. And as the Earth stirs, something equally profound is beginning to happen within people. There's a shift occurring, one that's not just in the mind, but deep in the way we perceive and feel the world. For many, it begins subtly. The senses begin to blend. A person might hear music and see colors at the same time, or taste a sound like it was a flavor. This crossing of senses, once considered rare or even imagined, is becoming more common. It's not a mistake in the system. It's a sign. Something buried deep within the human experience is beginning to awaken. Like a hidden circuit finally coming online, something dormant is switching on. And it's changing the very fabric of what it means to be human. Alongside this sensory awakening, a strange and beautiful form of communication is starting to rise. It doesn't come from any known language. It's not written in any book, nor taught in any school. People are finding themselves writing symbols or speaking tones and phrases that they don't consciously understand, and yet they feel deeply familiar. Some call it a light language, and it flows more like a melody than speech. It goes beyond ordinary meaning and speaks straight to something ancient inside of us. It doesn't just convey thoughts. It seems to activate something, as if it's lighting up forgotten parts of the mind and the soul. It's less about understanding with logic and more about remembering with the heart. Even more astonishing are the changes happening in children. Some are waking up with memories that don't seem to belong to this lifetime. They speak of star systems they've never studied, describe complex soul agreements with stunning clarity, and talk about their reasons for coming to Earth with a kind of wisdom far beyond their years. This isn't imagination shaped by cartoons or stories. There's a knowing in their words, and even more so in their eyes, like they're carrying ancient knowledge that adults have long forgotten. It's beautiful and mysterious all at once, and it suggests these children came here with purpose, one that's only just beginning to unfold. Meanwhile, something remarkable is taking place in people who have struggled for years with illnesses. In different corners of the world, individuals are experiencing healing that can't be explained. It doesn't always happen suddenly. Sometimes it begins with a vivid dream or a memory returning that they didn't even know was missing. Other times, it comes after moments of stillness or a deep connection to the cosmos. The body seems to be remembering how to heal itself, as if a buried blueprint is reactivating. Doctors are baffled. Conditions once considered incurable are simply disappearing without any medical intervention. But those going through it all share something in common. They say they didn't receive a cure, they remembered something. Not mentally, but in their cells, in their bones, in their very being. It wasn't a treatment. It was a code, unlocked from within. This entire shift, as powerful as it is, isn't about destruction. It's not about fear or the end of the world. According to the Pleiadians, this isn't a collapse. It's a reawakening. For too long, humanity has looked for signs on the outside, expecting loud changes and visible upheaval. But the true revolution has always been inward. What's happening now is a quiet uprising within the human body and soul, and it's becoming clear that the chaos many feared was never here to break us. It came to break the shell. Beneath the layers of pain and programming lies something untouched, a seed of something more, something divine. That seed was never gone. It's just been sleeping, waiting for the right moment. Now, with the barriers between dimensions thinning, with the stars calling out and the earth responding in kind, that seed is beginning to stir. This transformation isn't something the world will announce with headlines or broadcasts. It doesn't arrive with fanfare. It unfolds quietly, in silent rooms, in gentle breaths, in the kind of dreams that linger long after waking. It shows up in tears that come out of nowhere, in spontaneous laughter, in the moment someone realizes they no longer feel like the person they were just yesterday. This is the birth of a new kind of humanity, not one built by machines or artificial design, but one awakened from the inside out by something ancient, intelligent, and full of love. It's not a change we create. It's a remembering of what we've always been.